Hey everyone, Teo here. In today's video, I'm reviewing the Renaisser Pelican K8 wireless Bluetooth keyboard that's made for the Microsoft Surface Pro 8. So as a digital artist, when I'm drawing on a tablet or a pen display, I prefer to have the keyboard by the side of the display instead of in front of the display because this is not very ergonomic. So with this keyboard, you can now place this by the side because it's a wireless keyboard and you can use it. So when drawing, this is just more ergonomic, and this is the keyboard that Microsoft should have made. Let's take a look at the items included in the box. So this is actually a slide out box that I have already removed. The price of this keyboard is US $80, and that does not include the pen that you see here. So with this particular package, it includes the keyboard cover, the Renaisser 530 pen, a short USB-C to C cable, a longer braided USB-C to USB-A cable for charging the keyboard, and 3 replacement nibs for the pen. The Renaisser Pelican K8 keyboard is priced at US $80. The pen, the Renaisser 530 pen, is US $40. The Microsoft keyboard cover is priced at $180, and the Slim Pen 2 is priced at $130. So this is $100 US more compared to Renaisser's option. And this pen here is $130 versus $40. So in terms of value for money, you can clearly see this keyboard provides more value for money. The design of these two keyboards look almost identical, however there are some slight differences. The keys on the Pelican K8 are slightly larger, so the keys are also spaced closer. The keys on the Surface Pro keyboard cover are slightly smaller and they are spaced further apart. In terms of typing accuracy, I was able to type fairly accurate here, so typing accuracy is not an issue. The Shift, Enter, and this slash button and the backspace button are less wide compared to the wider buttons here. The keyboard layout is exactly the same. Control function windows alternate. The arrow keys are here. The function shortcut buttons are also exactly similar. The function button also has a light indicator. So when the light is on, it means you're using the function buttons. When the light is off, you're using the shortcuts such as the volume control, the brightness controls. The keys are backlit with 2 brightness, low and high. The keys have good travel and feedback, so my overall typing experience is very positive. The keys on the Pelican K8 have a smoother surface, whereas on the Surface keyboard cover there is actually this very subtle texture, and this is very susceptible to fingerprints, and that is one major gripe I have with the Surface keyboard because all these buttons, they can get oily really quickly. It is so tedious to clean this keyboard that when I'm using the Surface Pro 8 at home, I don't use this keyboard. I actually use another wireless keyboard. The keys here seem to be more resistant to fingerprint oil, relatively speaking. This touchpad is sensitive, responsive, and accurate. There is one downside though. You cannot press down in the middle section here. You can only press down in this area and in this area. So not being able to press down in the middle section can present some workflow issues. So for example, if I want to move this slider, I have to consciously move my finger to an area on the touchpad where I can press down so that I can press down, click and press down to drag the slider around. Because if I cannot press down, I cannot move this slider around. With the touchpad on the Surface keyboard, you can press down in this area here, anywhere in this area. With the Pelican K8 keyboard, you can only press down within this area and this area. The Pelican K8 keyboard can be used flat on the table, but as you can see, it's not completely flat. But thankfully, when typing, the keyboard doesn't really move up and down. You can also push this keyboard up to type at an incline. The magnet here isn't that strong, but due to the way the keyboard cover is folded, this is actually quite secure. So this is not going to move down on its own. Let's look at the back of the keyboard covers. I'm not sure what material is used to make this on the Pelican K8, but it looks and feels very similar to the Alcantara material used on the Surface keyboard cover. The main difference on the back is actually this part here, which protrudes a bit more compared to the Surface keyboard cover, but otherwise the keyboard itself, it's really thin. This material, by the way, is very nice and has this furry feel to it. The material inside is less furry, and this material is different compared to the Surface keyboard cover. I'm not sure how this will look after months of use, but this is how the Surface keyboard cover looks after months of use. This pen slot here can be used with selected Raphael series digital styluses. This pen slot doesn't charge the pen because the pen charges with this USB-C port, and if you have the Microsoft Slim Pen 1 or 2, it doesn't fit here, and it doesn't charge the Surface Slim Pen 1 and 2 as well. The Pelican K8 will attach to the Surface Pro 8 tablet with strong magnets here. Because there are no digital connectors here, it would mean that if the battery runs out on this keyboard cover, you won't be able to use this keyboard cover even when it's attached to the Surface Pro 8. The battery life for this is said to last up to 200 hours with the backlight disabled. So if you use this keyboard 6 to 7 hours, it can last close to 1 month. When the battery life is low, there will be a red light here, and you can charge the keyboard cover with this USB-C port here using the included USB-C cable. For power savings, this keyboard will power itself off with inactivity and power itself on when you're using it. To pair this keyboard with Bluetooth is really easy. Just press and hold this function button together with this C button, which has this Bluetooth logo here. This blinking blue light tells you the keyboard is looking for a connection, and you can find this keyboard from the Windows Bluetooth settings. The Bluetooth connection is good, however, with Bluetooth devices, there can be Bluetooth interference. So that leads me to the other downside for this keyboard cover. There is no on-off switch, so usually when my Bluetooth devices behave erratically, I would just power off and power on the device. But this keyboard cover does not have the on-off switch. So if you want to repair or restart the Bluetooth, you have to do it through Windows OS settings. By the way, my Surface Pro 8 is still flickering and I have not sent this for servicing yet. Alright, so let's look at the one thing the Surface keyboard cover cannot do, but this keyboard cover can do. You can just detach the keyboard, put it on the side, and draw here while you use your keyboard shortcuts here. Having the keyboard by the side here is so much more comfortable when it comes to drawing. Let me use the fill bucket, the eraser, the brush, another eraser. Let me zoom in, let me zoom out, use the hand tool. So this is incredibly comfortable and very ergonomic compared to having the keyboard in front of the tablet, where when I'm drawing, this just doesn't feel right. Another issue that relates to where you cannot press down on the touchpad is, depending on how you use the touchpad, you may or may not be able to move the cursor across large distances. For example, if I want to move this icon here to the top right, if I press down here to select the icon and move my finger to the top right, once it goes into the area where I cannot press down, my finger is actually considered to be lifted and the icon drops. This also means if you want to select text across a large distance, you won't be able to do so just with one finger to click and drag the cursor around. You can do this with the Surface Pro keyboard. You can drag the icon from here to here with just one finger. So the workaround is to just use two fingers. Just press down once with your index finger and use the other finger to move the icon around. There are actually many companies that make wireless Bluetooth keyboards that work with the Surface Pro 8. And among those keyboards, the one that looks most similar to the original Surface Pro keyboard is the one from Renaisser. Alright, to conclude, I find this keyboard cover to be more useful compared to the Microsoft Surface Pro keyboard cover simply because you can detach this from the tablet and place it by the side. So this is going to be very useful for digital artists when it comes to drawing. It's just way more ergonomic to use it side by side like this with the tablet. So these are my findings regarding the Renaisser Pelican K8 wireless keyboard that's made for the Surface Pro 8. You can decide whether or not this is worth the $80 US. I will review the Renaisser Raphael 530 digital stylus in a separate video, so do subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can get notified when that review is out. Thanks for watching. I hope this review is useful. See you guys again.